What's up, guys? Welcome back to part 2 of the tutorial. If you are just jumping in now, in part 1 we modeled this simple character here, and part 2 we're going to be focusing on adding some eyes, UV unwrapping the eyes, adding a material to the eyes, and then we're going to be assigning materials to the different parts of this character's mesh here. Alright, so let's just get started here. We're going to hide the hair mesh and the main mesh, and we're going to Shift A, add in a UV sphere. Now we're going to shade this smooth and just set the normals to 90 and tap into edit mode. Hit 1 on the numpad, and the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to rotate this. So hit N to bring up this panel, click item, or I'm sorry, just go do that in object mode, and then the rotation X 90 degrees. Yeah, you can hit N to close that, and then tab to go back into edit mode, and it should look like that. So you hit 1 to go into front view, and make sure you hit 2 on the keypad to go into edge select mode, and we're going to select some of these edges here to start UV unwrapping our eye. And this is just basically going to tell Blender how to apply the material to the eye. So I'm holding down Shift and selecting these edges here. Start with the top ones and the bottom ones going around the eye. And then we're going to do the same thing for the sides here. I'm still holding down Shift. Okay, so when you're done, it should look something like that, about halfway around the eye in the middle and on the top and bottom. Now we're going to hit U, mark seam. And I'm not going to go too in-depth into UV unwrapping in this. This is just kind of to get us to the point so we can move on with our character. But essentially, like I said, we're going to be telling Blender how to apply the eye texture so that it looks proper. So now we're going to hit, now that we've marked the seam, we're going to hit A, which will select the entire mesh, hit U, and then unwrap. So go back into object mode here, and I'm just going to save the project. And we can go up into the UV editing tab up here. It's up at the top here. And if you did it correctly, on the left screen here, this is what you should see. It kind of looks like a flower or that kind of shape there. That's the proper way to UV unwrap this eye here. So you can find a good material for the eye if you just go online here and type in free eye textures. And right here, eyes free texture downloads. You can find some pretty good free eye textures on here. So I already have mine saved, so you can just go ahead and pick whichever one you want and save that somewhere on your computer where you'll know where it's at. And once you have that saved, we'll click back on the eye and we'll go into the shading tab. Shift A, or I'm sorry, let's hit new to add in a new material, and we'll just call this like eye material. And I'll turn off caps lock. Alright, so now Shift A to add a new node and do image texture. And we're just going to plug the color into the base color here. And don't be alarmed if it turns your eye black. We're going to add in our image texture here in a second. So hit open and then go to wherever you saved the file on your computer. I have mine saved here. I have a bunch of different eye textures. And let's just grab one of these here. And there we have an eye. Now I'm actually going to use a different texture. That wasn't the one that I wanted. There we go. So if you hit 1 on the numpad, the eye is pointed in the wrong direction. We can go back into layout here and just switch to this one up here, the the one before rendered. I always forget what that's called. So hit 1 to go into front view, and then select the eye, hit N, and we can just rotate this 90 on the x-axis and 90 on the z and 90 on the y. It's still wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. It's minus 90 on the x, and then the rest are 0. So to avoid some confusion, all you have to do is minus 90 on the x rotation. Then you can hit N to close out of that. So now we have our eyeball, and it is unwrapped, and it's looking pretty good, but there's a couple things we can do to get this looking a little bit more realistic. So if we jump back into the shading tab here, and we go down to clear coat, we can just turn that all the way up. So now it kind of looks like it looks like an eye, like it looks like, wetness or stuff in the eye. And we can turn the clear coat roughness. You can play with that. I like to turn it all the way down. And then I like to put the roughness here to about 0.1 or 0.2. I'm going to go with 0.1. I think that looks pretty good. So then I'm going to go back into layout here and turn on my hair mesh and my main mesh, and then we're going to go ahead and just scale this eye into place to where our character is. I guess I could say we'll just place the eye. It's a much more simple way to say it. Hit 3 to go into side view. Put that up there. 1 to go into front view. And this is all up to you here. You can have, the eye. I'm going to actually just go back into this mode here so I can see a little better, since we don't have materials on our character yet. We may need to do some tweaking around here, but let's just kind of get the eye into place first. Something about right there looks decent. Okay, so now that we have our eye placed roughly in the mesh here, we just want to go in and maybe pull some of these edges down. Well, actually, go back into object mode, Shift D, X, and just let's put the other eye in place there. Just so what we do to one side, we can do to the other here. So select the mesh, go back into edit mode, and maybe select some of these top edges here, and we'll just pull them down a little bit. And maybe slide some of these in a little bit. Oops. And this part you can really do what you want here with this. I'm just trying to fit the shape of the eye a little bit better. And then we'll just go back and see how that looks. So that doesn't look too bad right there. Looks like, kind of normal. Okay. Save that. So now, if you did the last tutorial, you'll know that the hair is a separate, we separated that from the main mesh. So let's just go ahead and add a material to that first. Now, I'm just gonna block this out. You can go more advanced with materials later if you want, but I'm just gonna add some basic materials to the character just for the sake of the tutorial here. So we'll go into this mode up here, and then we'll select our hair mesh, and we'll go to the materials tab and hit new, and I'm gonna type in hair and just name that hair. Why is caps lock on? Okay. And I'm gonna just make this character's hair a kind of a brownish hair for now. Something like maybe like that. We'll turn down specular a little bit. Maybe we'll brighten that back up. And we'll make sure the roughness is up to about 0.9. And one thing you can do too, since this character has very dark brown eyes, you could, when you go to the base color, you could try using the eyedropper tool to select that, and that, that could go a long way in just making your character seem more blended. Like, I kind of like this, maybe a little bit reddish of hair. I mean, you know, this could all change. You could even go give him a blonder type of hair if you wanted to. Give him some blue hair, make him emo. No, I think we'll stick with that for now. I don't quite like that. There we go. Something like that's not bad for now. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select our main mesh and hit new, and we're just going to type in skin and name this skin. And now we'll just give the entire mesh a skin color, and you can do whatever color you want. For this, I'm going to go with like something similar to this, maybe something right about there for now. You can just play with the specular here, how much light you want it to take in and reflect. Something like right about there is good for me right now. Save project. Okay, and now we can go ahead to edit mode, and we can go into front view, and we can start assigning material to for the shirt. So I'm actually going to go back into this mode up here, and holding shift, I'll just select more faces. I'm going to, everywhere where his shirt is, I just want to select those faces. That's what I'm doing right now. Hit 3. I was in edge select mode there. We want it to be in face select mode. And for parts like this, go into hit 1, and you can actually shift alt to select the ring around here. It's easy to get some of these guys in here. Alt, Control Z, any part where his shirt is, Control Z. Sometimes it won't get it. You gotta Control Z. You can try going back into face select mode and Control Z, and then Shift Alt and click on a face. Sometimes you just have to try it. There we go, it got it that time. And then holding Shift down, select some more faces. And this part's a little tedious, but there are some easier ways to do it. But this is the way we're doing it for right now. It's where we're at. Doesn't matter. Just do it. Make sure you get all the faces here. And I mean, when you really think about it, it doesn't take that long, you know? Before we go up and get the neck, I want to go here and get the inside of his shirt here. Hit 1, Shift Alt, right click, Control Z, try this one. There we go. There we go. See, it's really not that bad doing it this way. I'm doing Shift Alt and clicking on different vertices. If it doesn't select the loop, I hit Control Z. So I just, sometimes you gotta find the right one. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a Blender 3.0 thing or what, but it's weird. Some of the times it just doesn't want to select them. I don't know. I'm not sure why. I'm not like an expert or anything at how Blender works. Just make stuff. So I'm holding down Shift, just selecting the rest of these faces here. And I'll do Shift Alt to get that. Control Z. Try this one, Shift Alt. Just trying to get this ring in there. Okay, looks like it got it there. So we just have to make sure we get the bottom now. I'm gonna save this here because it really sucks when Blender crashes and you're like, you've done something like this, and you're almost there, and then you have to like redo everything again. It's not fun. It's happened. Control Z. Damn it. And then I think we have one more loop in here. Come on, just one more. Try face select mode. Damn it. I don't know why it doesn't like the Shift Alt to select the loop here. We'll get it. There we go. And if you want to get really particular. There's just one more in here. Come on, there we go. All right, so now we're going to File, Save, just to be safe, and we can go up here and hit this little plus button, and that'll allow us to add a new material, and we're going to call this shirt. Enter, and then click Assign. And now if you go into this mode here and hit Tab, you can see that we now have a white material on our shirt. So I'm going to change this to something like maybe a bluish color, like a gray or something for now, like a bluish gray maybe. Something like that, or you can just play with, see what looks good. You can make it whatever color you want. I don't care. You can go a weird green. I'm going to leave it there for now. Kind of a light purple, and maybe just turn the roughness to like something like 0.9, and then the specular down. Something like that. There we go. And then I'll save that, and now we can go ahead and move on to the legs. I think I'm going to give him like black jeans, because I might like end up, changing his hair color back to black. We'll see. But we're just going to do the same exact process. Start selecting all of the faces where you want the pants to be. And I mean, if you wanted to, you could give them like shorts or something. You'd have to, tuck in the mesh here, but we're just going to keep it simple and give them a pair of pants. Just selecting faces here. And these just like flat color materials I'm assigning, we can change those later. I'm just assigning materials to this different parts of the mesh, and just keeping the colors really simple and basic for now, so that I can go in and change them later and maybe add some more detailed materials. But right now we're just kind of changing the colors so that we can see which parts we've already done. It's just a nicer way to work. So you just want to make sure you got everything here. Looks like we did. And then just double check. If you miss something, you can always just go back and use the same method to, reassign a material to that. So go up into here, and we'll go back up and hit the little plus button, and we're going to just type in new material, and then jeans. Type in jeans, or we'll just put in pants, because you might not be making jeans. Pants, and then don't forget to hit assign, and you'll see that changes them to white. So we can go to the base color, and if you want to change any of these materials, you can just go back up to like the skin, and you could just change the color of it up here. Actually might make mine a little bit darker for now, and then same thing for the shirt. You can change the color easily here. You can so we'll select the pants up here in the materials tab, and we'll go and make this a darker color for now, like maybe something like that. Turn the specular down, maybe just like something like that. Put the roughness to about 0.8 or 0.9. I'll do 0.9. And now we're going to want to go ahead and do the shoes. So I always like to save the project, and then tab into edit mode, and make sure you click off the screen so you don't end up selecting this mesh again while you're selecting this. I've done that before. It's really annoying. You have to like go back in and do it again, and then just go ahead and select all of the faces where the shoes are. Oops, Control Z. Just want to make sure you got everything, and then we go in and get these little spots in here. Shift Alt, Control Z, Shift Alt, Control Z, Shift Alt, Control Z. We'll try vertice mode, Shift Alt. There we go. I don't know, sometimes it just likes the vertex mode better. Vertice, I can never say that right. Shift Alt. Damn it. Swear to God, if it wants me to do face select for this one. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just going to manually do it. I don't care. Whatever. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to do it manually. Even though it's really fucking annoying. So now we want to make sure we got all these inside faces selected here. Not that anyone's going to see down in here, but I don't know, it bugs me if I don't get them. I have to get them all. You don't have to get them all. Oh, I see you. Alright, well, I can live with that. Like, you know, if I missed any, I just won't point the camera inside his shoe. How about that? But I will get these up here. Obby. That is good enough for me. Is it good enough for you? I hope so. Alright, we'll do the same process here. Hit the little plus sign, and then we'll type in, we'll click new, and we'll type in shoes or slippers, whatever, and then hit assign. And now we can see they're white, so we'll go ahead and change the color. I don't know, whatever color you want to make them. You know what? Let's just make them the same exact color, you know, as the shirt for now. Because like I said, we can change this stuff later. You know, this is not permanent. Alright, so now we have successfully assigned materials to our character. We've unwrapped the eyes and added you know, a material on the eyes. There's a lot of stuff you could do from here. If you haven't enabled the Blender kit, it's a really great free add-on. You can go to Edit, Preferences, and if you just start typing in Blender, it's this top one up here, Blender Kit Online Asset Library. If you haven't checked that, definitely check it and save the preferences. It's this up here. It's really great. If you're in Blender 2.8 or 2.9, I think you have it. It's in Blender 3.0, which is what I'm in. You have a little bit more options up here, like you can find HDRIs and full out scenes and stuff. I use the HDRIs a lot and the materials a lot. They also have one for objects. You can find 3D objects. I don't really use that one, but for example, like we can go to the materials one here and we can type in jeans. And you see we'll get all these cool jean materials that pop up here. So this one here looks pretty cool, Denim 01. So if we go to our materials tab and click on pants, and then we click Denim 01 up here, give it a second to load the material in. There we go. Alright, so I mean you can see that looks pretty bad, but what you can do is you can go into edit mode, and then you can hit U and cube projection, and if you tap back into object mode, it looks a little bit better. You know, you can see there's still some issues here on the lines, and that's a whole other tutorial on UV unwrapping. But my point for showing this is that you can basically find all different kinds of materials right here in the Blender kit for, you know, anything. There's rocks, there's leaves, there's grass, like, you know, and it just saves time, you know, than going online to like another website or something. I mean, you know, there's a lot of great websites out there. I'm not saying not to use them, but I'm just saying this is a nice feature in Blender that lets you quickly put, you know, different materials onto your character and stuff right in Blender. And I just think it saves a lot of time. So definitely experiment with that and play with that. And you know, tag me in your stuff. I'm on Instagram, Purple Park Studios. Tag me in your stuff. Post your final renders when it's done. And yeah, once you get, you know, everything set up, you should have a character that looks something like this. All right, so this is my final character. What I ended up doing with him. If you guys want to know how I UV mapped the shirt, and you know, what I did to, you know, to get these materials on him, as well as adding in a couple shape keys over here, you know, to make the blinks and stuff. To make the blinks, stuff like smiling, things like that. If you guys would like to know, just let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to make a short tutorial just kind of explaining how I did everything like that. Didn't really have time to do it all in this tutorial, but I hope that you can take something away from it and learn something. And anything else you want to see, just let me know in the comments. I love doing this stuff. So, alright, thanks for the support, guys, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.